Kasama here, your community realtor. Have you ever wondered what are your rights as a buyer when you're in contract? If you're wondering about that, watch this video. I want to take a moment to really explain to you what the rights are to the buyer when you're looking to buy a property. When you are submitting an offer and your offer fortunately gets accepted to the house that you want, there's a period called contingency period that actually is designed contractually to protect the buyer's rights. How the contingency period works is this. Once the offer goes into effect and escrow, if you wonder what escrow is basically the escrow and title company, a neutral third-party company, will be overseeing the transaction and make sure that the property has no outstanding liens and everything has to get paid off at the end of escrow. So there are no debts or anything that was incurred or anything that was delinquent that would be transferred over to the buyer. The title has to be free and clear for it to be transferred to the next owner, okay? So that's one thing. So when the property is in escrow, which means escrow is open, your offer is accepted, everybody's happy, sellers are packing, right? You are now able to have inspections done. And if you want to hear more about various inspections, check out the video that is recommended here so that you can learn more about the details of inspections. I was actually at an inspection site when I was doing that. So the buyer now has the right at their expense to pay for any kind of inspections. You can inspection the air above the house, the soil underneath the house if you want to. But the three inspections that I usually actually strongly recommend to my clients are the home inspection, the termite inspection, and the roof inspection, okay? So you have typically, unless it's negotiated differently, typically there are terms spelled out in the offer. So for example, if it's 17 days from the date that the offer was accepted, you have 17 days to do have those inspections done, and your real estate agent representing you should be coordinating all of this and handling it and taking you through the process, okay? The second thing is the inspection contingency, okay? The second contingency is called the loan appraisal contingency, okay? So this is where you're working with your preferred lender, hopefully a really good lender, and a good real estate agent should be, if you don't already have a lender that you trust and feel that they're competent and they're gonna deliver the goods and do what is best for you, your good realtor should be able to connect you with a lender that will do what is best for you, okay? So the lender is gonna coordinate to order an appraisal. The appraiser will come out, do their own inspection. It's a form of inspection as well. And this is really for the lender to know that the offer price is good, or if there has to be a difference that needs to be negotiated or adjusted, depending on the contract. So I'm not gonna go into the specifics of the terms. It's going to be on a case-by-case basis, okay? Now, there's also that appraisal contingency period. So it will be normally by default contract in state of California, it's 17 days from the date that the offer was accepted as well, okay? The last contingency that happens when you're financing and you're getting a loan as a buyer is the loan contingency removal. That usually is additional more days than the inspection and the appraisal contingency period. The default number of days on the California Association of Realtors contract is 21 days from the date of acceptance. Now, during any time of any of these contingency periods, especially the inspection contingency period, should you, the buyer, feel like this is not coming together. There are a lot more repairs, or there are a lot more issues than we thought. And see, it's one of those things you won't know until you're in escrow and you're having experts conduct inspections, right? So if you are going through that period, and you and your realtor, and a good realtor should be advising you on what is reasonable, what is health and safety types of items, okay? And this is where you really need to lean on your realtor on guiding you through this process. So based on the findings, if you are submitting what is called a request for repair to the seller, which means now we're listing out items that need to be addressed with the seller, okay? The seller could either respond in 3 ways. The seller could respond back with that request for repairs, those items, saying, 1, oh sure, we'll do everything, like we'll fix whatever you want, okay? So imagine if you're the seller, how would you feel if the buyer says, I want everything fixed. I want a perfect house for this special price that we just got into, okay? So think about that. That has to be reasonable. It's got to be within reason. It should be health and safety items, not cosmetic, not like I need a new carpet. Oops, I need a new carpet. Why don't you fix that for me, seller? How do you think that's going to go, right? So you have a request for repair submitted. Seller, option number 1 says, we'll fix everything. You just go ahead, okay? Option number two, seller might say, you know what, we'll address your concerns. We understand the reasonable request, and we will respond to a portion of what you're asking, okay? Or the third option is, you might have guessed it, you guessed it. Seller's like, nope, we're not fixing anything, we're not giving you anything, nope. At this point, you, the buyer, have the right to go, we're not, so let's say the seller is, we're not gonna fix anything, we're not giving you anything. And you, the buyer, feel like that's not reasonable, and we go back, this is where the agent should be talking to each other. Any good agent should be talking, not texting and, throwing rocks at each other, but really try to work together to come to a solution. And if a solution cannot be met, and you now, the buyer, have the right to say, we wish not to proceed with this transaction because we cannot come to an agreement. Seller and buyer cannot come to an agreement. And during this contingency period is where all of these things should be exercised. And you have not actively signed a contingency removal saying that we're good to go, we're removing all contingencies, right? If you have not signed to remove any contingencies and you decide to change your mind and back out and not continue on with the contract, your what is called earnest money deposit, that's the money when escrow is open, okay? You put in some good faith deposit with the offer. That's the only way the seller knows that you are a committed and serious buyer. That money has been sitting in escrow, okay? And that should be done, by the way, within the first 3 days from date of acceptance, okay? And your agent should be going over all of this with you. That earnest money deposit will then be mutually signed by both you requesting it and the seller signing to approve it to be released back to you if you have not removed contingencies. So your deposit is protected. You had the ability to check on the property and it didn't work out, so now you decide to cancel. The seller, through a few pieces of paperwork and a couple of good agents working together and a reputable escrow company will make sure that initial deposit is released back to you. Same thing with the appraisal contingency. If the property doesn't appraise, there has to be a negotiation happening between the agents of seller and buyer, and if they cannot come to meet in an agreement, the buyer once again has the right to cancel the contract, and ultimately their deposit would be released back to them. And the third contingency removal, if you remember, is the loan contingency removal. If for some reason the loan cannot come together, the financing doesn't come together for whatever reason, and there could be I could spend an hour talking about the different reasons because I've seen so many of them, but we won't go there. That's a different video. But when that happens, the buyer again has the right to cancel the contract and the earnest money deposit. It has to be proven that the loan cannot come together. Like, you can't make this stuff up, okay? Then the buyer will then be able to receive their deposit released back to them. Those are your rights. I hope this has been helpful. Feel free to just text or email or reply or comment in this video if you have any additional questions that I can help you with. As a matter of fact, I have the buyer's guide, which is kind of a flow chart of series of events that happen. And if you would like to get that buyer's guide, click the link below and you will be able to receive that guide. This is Kasama Lee, your community realtor. If this is your first time visiting and you like the content of this video, subscribe to this so that you would be receiving videos from me on a weekly basis that would educate you on how to buy or how to sell in real estate and what your rights are. Thanks for watching.